How's it going, everyone? My name is Maximilian, and welcome to the 27th episode of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Online Warrior. What's up, everyone? Thank you very much for tuning into another episode of The Online Warrior featuring Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. We actually just got off a week of full ranked games featuring this game, a bunch of different teams, a bunch of different players, and there was 5 days straight of constant matches. If you want to check out some of those games, you can click the annotation at the top. But beside from that, the previous episode of The Online Warrior was talking about how this show was going to get back to basics and how we're going to get back to analyzing ranked games, having people submit their gameplay, me offering commentary for said gameplay, and then going over the post-match analysis for what I think was the deciding factor in the match. And we're absolutely going to do that, and the big reason I was making the announcement of us going back to basics like the previous episode was because there hasn't been a lot of news around Ultimate Marvel 3 lately. However, as soon as I make that announcement and we start to go into a new type of show, it seems like something happens. So it's kind of like the trigger effect, and the universe just makes it so. So what happened over the past week is that there was some recent information dropped from Capcom officially about the future of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and the Marvel vs. Capcom series. So for a lot of you guys, you've noticed the title of this video, and it's 10 more years. And it's for this reason. Christian Svensson, who is one of the higher-ups over at Capcom USA, recently went on stream and was asked several questions about the future of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and he was finally shedding some daylight on what's going to be happening with this game later on. Now, as you guys know, there's been a lot of previous episodes about this game talking about potential DLC, talking about potential balance patches. There was even a pretty big, substantial rumor that was going on for quite some time, saying that after EVO, there was going to be a balance patch and an adjustment patch for this game after the big tournament for the game is concluded, to give people a little bit of time to settle after, you know, the large competitive season has ended. And we were going to see something after EVO. But it looks like this might not be the case. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the responses that Christian Svensson had over at Capcom regarding the game. One of the biggest things he said is that there are no new characters planned to be implemented for Ultimate Marvel 3. More costumes and other things are possible, but they are not currently in the works. So this means that that potential balance patch most likely is not going to happen after EVO takes place. The next thing he said was that the Ultimate Marvel 3 team has now moved on to new stuff, and we know the producer of the game was Ryoto Nitsuma. The title's producer and his team is actually working on something different, so who knows if that's another fighting game or something completely different altogether. But you must realize that Ryoto Nitsuma's team before this worked on Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, so they have a pretty big history of fighting games behind them. Who knows what's in the works later on? We'll probably see, if not sometime this year, maybe at E3. He was then later asked that if it would be another 10 to 15 years before we saw the next Marvel vs. Capcom game, aka Marvel 4. And they said that they were pretty happy with the results of Ultimate Marvel 3, but it's probably time to chill with that franchise for a while, end quote. And the reason this is because there was a pretty cluttered schedule of fighting games coming out for the later part of 2011 and 2012 for Capcom. If you didn't realize, we essentially got like 4 fighting games in the span of practically a year. I think Marvel 3 came out around like February-ish of 2012, and then of 2011, and then later in that year, about a few months later, we got the arcade edition version of Super Street Fighter 4, and then after that, Ultimate Marvel 3 came out in November, and then later the next year in 2012, we got Street Fighter Cross Tekken, so it was just about a year's time frame. And there were 4 fighting games from Capcom, so I think they were trying to realize that they need to spread things out. However, I've heard the story of why Ultimate Marvel 3 was shipped so early, really quickly beyond the release of the vanilla version of the game, the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And it was literally like 6-7 months after it was released, and as you guys know this, it upset a lot of people. And the reason being was because Marvel has a pretty strict guideline as far as how their properties and their characters and their trademarks are going to be revealed, and they wanted them to be revealed most likely before, like, the Avengers movie, and this was the only chance that Capcom could really do it without the game being released, like, right next to Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and yeah, 2 Capcom fighting games in the same month doesn't seem like it would make much sense. So I think that the team that was working on Ultimate Marvel was probably burned out of the game because they had to work their asses off on it for such a quick amount of time. So you gotta really look at the underbelly of how these games are developed and when they're supposed to be released to kind of see what's going on. So with that information, it appears that Marvel 3 is not going to be seeing anything new, as that pretty much sums up what Christian Svensson had to say about the future of this game. And that pretty much got me thinking. It got me thinking about the future of Ultimate Marvel, the condition it's in right now. So let's currently talk about the condition of Ultimate Marvel 3. There's only one big thing, well, there's several things that are kind of upsetting some players, but people are kind of working their way around it. We've made previous episodes talking about the power of Wesker and the eventual oversaturation of Wesker, how you're not seeing him as much now, even though he's an extremely powerful character. But other characters are coming into the spotlight and like kind of changing the entire purpose of the game, like, you know, Morrigan's keep away using her multiple fireball attack with like doom hidden missiles, and the overall effectiveness of Morrigan when we thought she was total garbage when the game first came out. If you guys haven't seen any of that stuff, check out some of the stuff that goes up on Team Spooky's channel. You'll see some play from like Chris G and Dominion about how effective and insane Morrigan can be in this game, and we all thought the exact opposite. But what it is new strategies are popping up almost every single week, and you see new pieces of technology all the time. What's good is that some of the crazier glitches from the original version of Marvel have pretty much been addressed. Some of the really game-breaking glitches, like the DHC glitch and some other stuff, were taken care of. There's some other minor things that pop up here and there, but Marvel 3 is kind of really staying at a good competitive level, I think, right now. You're still seeing a pretty big variety of character usage, even in major tournaments. And you look at the top 8 bracket or the top 16 bracket, you look at the character usage, and it's full of a lot of variety. For the most part, that is, and that's actually pretty good when it comes to the overall competitive and hype and excitement of game builds, because when somebody comes in and introduces a whole new team, it's really crazy, man. And now that the fact that Ultimate Marvel 3 is going to be at SBO this year, the big Japanese national championship for fighting games, it's even crazier. All I'm saying is that this is reminding me of Marvel 2. Marvel 2 had a lot of stuff that was huge and game-breaking, and it would seem like it would be a terrible problem when the game first came out, but it stayed along, it kept going, and it keeps going because of people like you that are watching, people like me that enjoy these games, the community. The community supports the game, and when it comes to crazy tactics, characters that are just insane, people find ways around it, and that's kind of the challenge of a game. You don't get a patch of luxury, a patch that comes up and fixes something that you have an issue with. You kind of have to do something to find your way around it. That was the way fighting games worked back in the day, when we didn't have revision after revision of a game getting updated all the time, and it would take a long time to get new revisions if they ever did happen, and in between that time frame you would essentially be left with a game of something you'd be upset about, or you didn't like a certain tactic or mechanic, and you had to find a way around it. It was just the way it went. It's kind of the way with Marvel 2, and Sentinel's really powerful, and, you know, Magneto's extremely good, and Storm is really good, and Psylocke is an amazing assist, and Captain Commando's a great assist, and even though you had like this very small, like, you know, less than 10% amount of the characters that were actually in the cast representing the game was extremely popular because the people kept playing it, the people loved it, and the people found ways around these things and found new things to counteract other things. So that's all I'm saying, is that 10 more years represents the competitive and community spirit behind the Marvel games. And when a game lasts that long based off like Marvel 2, for example, based off an engine that is kind of like thrown together. Marvel 2 is essentially one of the most broken fighting games out there, and because of that reason, it ended up being one of the best. So I'm not saying Ultimate Marvel 3 isn't by comparison a ridiculously broken game. Sure, it has powerful characters, but at the same time, I think we just need to find things around these tactics, explore new characters, explore new strategies, and essentially develop the game as a community instead of relying on Capcom to kind of develop the game. Even though that's what I would personally want, I think everyone else wants to see new characters, they want to see this stuff happen. But when it comes to the age of working with a company like Marvel, I think things are a lot different than how they used to be, and adding characters is most likely a much more difficult and sensitive process. So hopefully it's something interesting for you guys to consider, for everyone that's playing Marvel right now and trying to expand the community, and me trying to get new people involved in games like this, even though they've been out for quite some time now. It still brings me enjoyment, it's still hype as any other game, and it's a blast to play and watch. But now let's move on to the next segment of the Online Warrior, where we check out the recently submitted user submissions that I'm going to offer commentary for. Like I was saying earlier, we're going to go back and look at somebody's match, offer some post-match analysis, and I'll offer some live commentary. This first one is provided by Master Doom-Man, and he's using an extremely crazy team of Thor, Rocket Raccoon, and Super Skrull, so let's check this out. Thor is causing some spacing with his special moves, while She-Hulk goes in, cracks him on the head, and charges up for the super, another bop to the head, and gets the, wow, pretty decent combo. This is actually some cool stuff. Ooh, fails to get the connected assist to extend the combo, but no. Doom-Man's Thor is back on the move, and you really have to respect some of Thor's specials. Like, those things can cause a ton of hit stun and a ton of block stun, and he's got an extremely pissed feral animal in the background throwing log traps everywhere. Gotta be really careful with this stuff. It's the stuff you don't see that is gonna probably make you lose a match. But She-Hulk eats a log trap to the head, tries to get him in an air combo, misses it, rushes in, grabs on the bottom, but the log trap hits, but Thor fails to capitalize. She goes up for her invincible air throw, doesn't get it, and then looks like Spencer comes in and is going to eat a ton of damage from the God of Thunder. How much can it hurt? Get the OTG, no, barely misses the OTG, goes in, dropping the hammer, and ooh, whiffs a standing S. This is probably going to hurt Thor a lot, but no, Team Aerial counters right in the middle. Rocket Raccoon is in now, burrowing into the ground, keeping underground, trying to avoid that bionic arm, and oh no! Oh man! Yeah, hits both characters, chooses to X-Factor, but Silver Spencer is unable to do so. Doesn't matter, Rocket Raccoon has taken a ton of damage now, and it just takes a simple jab to the face, and it's game over. Next character coming in, Super Skrull with a full level 3 X-Factor, uses it right in the middle of the smash, and one more does it. Now it looks like Super Skrull against Spencer. And, oh no, this is not going to be very good. Spencer's probably going to go down very easily with a little bit of the Inferno. Drops back down. Where's the mix-up? What's going to happen? Taskmaster comes in with that silver villain armor, goes up and uses the level 3, brings down Taskmaster, smashing him in the face repeatedly, and with a big fiery fist into the corner. That stuff has to hurt. Gets the command grab on the reset. Oh no, this is probably going to do it. And it looks like with that, you're going to end it with Inferno? Inferno! And Super Skrull takes it. Thank you very much, Master Doom-Man, for sending in your clip. And looking back, I think what won this fight for you was the multiple and really effective uses of Skrull's command grabs while in X-Factor. You can see how much faster they are on both the situations where you landed the command grab, and in both scenarios you were able to KO two characters. Our next clip was sent in by Andres Master Mex, who's using a team of Phoenix Wright on point and the double Megamans in the back with Frank West and Zero. It's funny, there's double Megamans and no Mega Man in this game. Goes in, uses the Maya barrier, and gets Hulk on a combo. How will he be able to extend it? Chooses not to extend it, goes in and gets the evidence. Now he's got full evidence, but Hulk on the attack. Doesn't matter, Phoenix Wright's got the barrier. Looking at his books, he doesn't even care, lands the objection, and now he's working his way in. Chooses to take Phoenix Wright out. And I think he's looking for a perfect moment to bring him in, and he's not trying to use his assist a little bit, even though they did nerf his assist. But Zero's on the work, dressed up as Mega Man X, and this is probably going to hurt a lot. No! Looks like Hulk did not get the Meteor Smash. Gets a pretty good mix-up using Frank, but loses the opportunity, and this is going to be a quick block. Throws a Mega Buster, and the big green man is down. Ooh, good mix-up on the start, but misses the launcher. Oh, he barely had an opportunity there from the recovery of Crouching M, but gets him with the Mega Buster on the end, gets him back into the corner, and Sentinel's on the run now, but he brings out Hagar. Hagar gets slapped in the head, and so does Sentinel. Sentinel in the corner with Mega Man is not going to be a good look for the bigger robot of the two. How does he choose to end it? No, he actually drops his combo. Hit stun does too much, gets slapped with the frying pan, 3 kicks to the face with another frying pan, and this will just about kill everyone's favorite blue bomber. Where's the mix-up going to come from here? Uh-oh, Frank eats a quick kick to the face, and this will probably kill the second Mega Man if he chooses to X-Factor. I most likely would as well. And actually, he brings in Hagar. Hagar should finish this one up with the multi-hitting attack. If you mash those buttons, Ben, you can get a ton of damage from that special move. Ooh, Phoenix Wright barely blocks it, but actually misses it. Comes on the incoming, and now fingers are flying everywhere. Here comes some evidence. Read this book, Phoenix says. Oh, he wants to poke him in the eye so bad. Ooh, Hagar does not want to get touched. Does not want to get touched. Using constant up-back tactics, that chicken blocking is working. Goes for the sweep, misses it. Phoenix is looking desperate here. Throwing papers everywhere. Frustration left and right. Hagar's throwing pipes, and now Phoenix is back to being a normal man, but lands the objection. And here we go. Mr. Dark Phoenix Wright. What is going to happen here? It looks like we got combos. Will he go into the level 3? Gets the stun state, and he's back to resetting his position, but now he has full evidence, and this evidence is a great keep away against a character like Hagar. But he's got another person he's got to deal with, and that's his other character on the end. This might be a DHC, Oh, he goes straight into Phoenix's level 3, and this will easily kill Hagar, no problem. But now he's got to deal with one more character, and there's only 20 seconds left on the clock, so what is going to happen? What mix-up does he have at the start? Chooses to build some evidence, brings Maya out, Sentinel on the incoming, slaps him in the head. This could possibly do it, but he did not extend his combo. No, he went for the hyper jump cancel, and now this should do it. Oh, but he misses the crouching M, and the objection hits Sentinel in the face, but Sentinel did not capitalize on the damage, and now Phoenix is left with a sliver of health. 7 seconds left. Sneezes on the robot. Oh, what are you gonna do, Phoenix? Come on, everyone wants to see you win. Dogs coming in, left and right, judges slamming hammers, and it's a KO. So that was a pretty exciting game. Thank you very much, Andre, for sending in your footage. Even though you lost your X Factor earlier in the match, you were able to hold out, keep your distance against characters that are really powerful up close, and that's really how you have to treat matches, especially with a character like Phoenix Wright. And that just about does it for another episode of The Online Warrior. Thank you guys very much for watching, and if you'd like to submit a video response to this video featuring your matches from Ultimate Marvel 3, I'll do my best to commentate and provide a post-match analysis. Please leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and as always, this has been Max, and I'll see you next time.